2.5 was something Lee said, and I think I said, I'm sorry, man, it needs a noun.
Men, 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 manly men, 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 manly men, men, men.
Men, 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 manly men. Ooh.
Men, 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 manly men, 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 manly men, men, men.
Chuck Lorre and I worked together over a number of years on a number of different shows.
He was working on a show run by a friend of mine named Bob Meyer, and that show got canceled. And Bob called and said, I got a guy who I think is really talented, and you should give him a shot.
We were looking to do something that was a little more male-centric, that reflected a little bit more of our experiences as men.
She left before she made the coffee.
So, we'll make our own coffee.
How?
I really did have the opportunity to write a show where men were wrestling with what it is to be a man, what it is to be a brother, what it is to be a father and a son.
We knew we wanted the primary relationship to be between an adult who was really an adolescent and an adolescent who was not his son. Once we got that, we thought to ourselves, okay, who would be the right actor to play the adult adolescent? And came to us Charlie Sheen.
Take him down.
When Lee and I went to CBS to discuss the idea, we used Charlie's name, you know. It's free, you can use it. He said, you know, kind of like Charlie Sheen. The executive in development said, oh, that's interesting, can you get Charlie? And I went, well, I don't know.
I told you, I'm hard to stay mad at. I took a meeting with Chuck Lorre and with Lee Aronson, the guys that created this thing, and they said, basically, we have an idea about a couple of brothers. One has just come through a divorce, one's a bachelor, the other one has a son. And I said, do you know what it's called? And they said, we're thinking about calling it 2.5 Men. I said, well, that's catchy, I like that. I said, do you have a script? And they said, no.
We're just, you know, crazy enough just to pitch you an idea.
They said, will you do it? I said, what do you mean, will I do it? I said, well, we want you to be a part of it. I said, well, not until I read the script, because I can't commit to something I haven't read.
So Lee and I hunkered down and wrote the script as fast as we humanly could and got it back to him, and he said yes.
It was at the act break of the pilot that I knew that this thing was a gem and I wanted to be involved. When I tell the kid in the grocery store, wow, you're even better than a dog.
Oh, is she staying over? Because I may have parked behind her.
The search for the brother clearly is, you know, it's an equal weighted part, and it was going to, you know, be a formidable task. And the executive, who will remain nameless, said, all right, let's talk about the brother character, and I don't want to hear the name, John Cryer.
Yeah, the initial reaction to John Cryer was not positive, neither from the network or the studio, but when we brought him in and had him read the part with Charlie, he just knocked it out of the park.
I had heard several actor friends of mine tell me, oh, there's this script, 2.5 Men, that you're perfect for, and you've got to go in on that. And I kept telling my agents, you know, let's get on that, and how come I can't get a meeting? And they said, oh, there's a little resistance at the network to you. And I, huh? Basically, the network wasn't happy to see me because of the 80s movies. I had a lot of that baggage, and because, you know, Charlie did a lot of movies in the 80s and 90s. They didn't want the show to feel like two people with that kind of baggage.
John's management were really insistent that I see him anyway.
I'd worked with Chuck Lorre in the past on a pilot years ago that didn't get picked up, and I really loved working with him. And so I was happy that I read the script, and I was like, wow, this is terrific. But all my friends, as I said, had said that I was the perfect guy for this, and that part is you. And I read the description, and he was supposed to be anal retentive, uptight, anxious, and I was like, what do my friends think of me? And but I have to say, you know, I got in the room.
When we brought him to audition with Charlie at CBS, there were a lot of folded arms, and it was cold in there. It was amazing. I mean, he was so embodied this character without effort. It was just a joy to watch.
It's actually kind of ironic. They're arguing about who gets you on what days.
That is ironic.
You know what ironic means?
No, but I trust you.
Angus is easy to tell you about because he's the only kid we saw. Our casting director, Nikki Valco, said, "You've got to see this kid."
Chuck Lorre, the writer and executive producer, he saw me in The Rookie, a movie that I was in with Dennis Quaid.
We brought him in, and he was like, "Oh my God, can we be this lucky?"
Usually you go with 3 choices to the network, but we just went with Angus.
As soon as we were walking out of the door, we had just walked outside, and somebody came running out and said, "You got it." So that was really exciting, just to know right then not to have like the anticipation of the phone call.
He was good from day one, and he's just gotten better.
I think I sensed that the show would be a hit when we were shooting the pilot. At one point, we had this sea of suits of network executives, and you know that happens a lot at pilots. You have a good amount of them, but it was huge. I mean, it was just it was like an IBM convention or something.
The night we shot it was a remarkable night. You were left going, okay, we have something here. This works on levels that you can only count yourself fortunate for, because there's a lot of alchemy involved. A lot of things can go wrong.
We got very lucky. We got the right time slot on the right network in the right year with the right cast, the right star. I mean, everything aligned.
I remember getting an early cut of the pilot, and I had a party up at my house a few years ago, and so I played it, and we laughed, and we cried, and it was, they all said, "Wow, congratulations, you got a job for a long time."
A couple of scenes from the pilot will always stand out. The key scene with John and Charlie in the living room, where John's character is just coming apart because his wife has thrown him out and he doesn't understand. And Charlie explains his life to him. Greatest introduction to a character I've ever been part of, because it happened so effortlessly.
What about you? What's going on with you?
Well, Alan, there's not much to say. I make a lot of money for doing very little work. I sleep with beautiful women who don't ask about my feelings. I drive a Jag, I live at the beach, and sometimes in the middle of the day, for no reason at all, I like to make myself a big pitcher of margaritas and take a nap out on the sun deck.
As writers on the show, I think we've all made the mistake in previous incarnations on other shows of starting from the funny situation.
You just kept running around in your little cage trying to make everybody happy. And what do you get? You get dead.
You do know the pig can't hear you, right?
Don't you get it? I am the pig.
Okay, I'm just asking because your reaction doesn't seem very healthy to me.
And what do you think would be healthy, Charlie?
I don't know. Why don't we toss Porky in the ocean and go get bombed?
Rather than starting from a funny situation and going from there, we try with our stories to start from a character aspect.
Sunday's tequila night at Pavlov's. Every time the bell rings, you gotta take a shot.
Why?
'Cause the bell rings.
Oh, okay.
Most of the comedy comes out of the characters, not situations the characters happen to find themselves in because that's what's supposed to be funny. Woof!
Being that this is such an old school sitcom, it would be very easy for the writers to say, okay, this week we'll do the talent show episode. This week we'll do the dream sequence episode. This week, and those are all sort of tried and true sitcom cliches, but they've been trying to go a little deeper.
Yeah, we don't start with a funny situation like they're locked in a room or they're stuck in an elevator. We try and start with something that's character-driven, like Charlie's upset about being the oldest guy in the room and feels like he's growing older, or Alan deals with his feelings about being the ignored younger brother for all these years, or Charlie deals with his resentments towards his mother over his upbringing.
Somebody better be dead.
Porky's dead.
And you completely screwed up our lives.
I'm sorry?
Well, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, I'm good.
Once we got that, we'll sit around and we'll just spitball, you know, what if this, what if that. We write the script, all of us in a room, with either Chuck or I. It was what we call holding the pencil. Usually Chuck deciding what it is that's actually going to go on the page.
Monday, we come in and read through the script with the whole cast. And then Tuesday, we rehearse it with the director. And then Wednesday is the same thing with the producers and the executives. And Thursday, we pre-shoot anything that we wouldn't be able to shoot in front of the audience that wouldn't really work, like car scenes. We gotta have like a blue screen in the background or green screen or the deck. They have to put a fourth wall in. And then Friday, we shoot in front of the live audience. It's really fun to do it with the audience. And then if you mess up, they laugh anyway.
You don't want mom to know my number.
On taping day, which is Friday, we come in at around 1 o'clock. We rehearse a bunch of the scenes. Then we have a big long lunch, which is nice. It's like 2 hours of lunch. Mostly I sit in my trailer freaking out because of the huge amount of lines I have to memorize. So I sit there pacing back and forth, wearing a hole in my little tiny, you know, carpeting in my trailer. And people call me and I'm like, yes, what?
After I get the tickets, you line up for the popcorn while I go nail down some good seats. I want butter in the middle. Don't just let them squirt it on the top. Oh, and a large cherry Slurpee. And then you hold the seats while I go hit the men's room. And then I'll do the same while you do the same, okay? Okay, it's a lot, folks, so bear with me.
The hard part for me on the show, playing Alan, is he does a lot of setup. He sets up a lot of jokes for Charlie and for Angus, and those are just harder to memorize for me.
Okay, after I get the tickets, you line up for the popcorn while I go nail us down some good seats. Then, I already messed up the lines!
I just laid all that pipe, and you dropped the ball.
When you've got great actors and rich characters, you've got a lot more freedom when you're making comedy because you don't have to be writing jokes every 3 lines. Because you know you've got actors who can take an attitude and make it funny.
What?
You got a normal-sized head.
Thanks. I'm pretty happy with it.
Well, I don't get it.
What don't you get?
I heard Mom say the reason Uncle Charlie gets into so much trouble is because he thinks with his little head.
The body humor is not meant to shock. Shock is easy. It's really easy to shock an audience. You know, it's meant to provoke laughter. If it's not provoking genuine laughter, it's not worth doing. So if it provokes genuine laughter, then the fight is on.
Nothing exciting happening in your world, Charlie?
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. Go to a fun party, see a great movie, run into an old flame with a new wick.
The restrictions actually force you to work a little harder, and it appalls the censors when they say you can't say that word, and you come up with a word that is so innocuous but so wrong.
One show that we did with Terry Hatcher, Charlie was explaining to her that over the years he had used the mental picture of that incident to...
Over the years, I've actually used the mental picture of that night as lighter fluid when I'm, you know, barbecuing alone.
This insane writing staff will sit and go, all right, well, let's go at this another way.
Over the years, I've actually used the mental picture of that night as landing lights when I'm, you know, flying solo. I see it on TV and I'm like, wow, how did we get away with that? Over the years, I've actually used the mental picture of that night as hamburger helper.
If you take the time, there's a myriad of ways to say what can't be said.
Over the years, I've actually used the mental picture of that night to establish a rhythm when I'm, you know, can't remember it.
Wow, they didn't want that to air, but it did. It really brought the house down. There's a quality to the two men that is in the characters, and I think that's one of the reasons, maybe the most critical reason why the show has been successful, they're kind of archetypes, you know? They're twisted Jungian archetypes.
This is ridiculous. I don't need to be here. I gave you a choice. Take the long shower or talk to the doctor.
You know, I mean, you have the eternal boy, and Cryer plays a character who's more everyman. I like to think of him as Job. You know, he's trying to live a good life, and he's being punished. There's an elegance to Charlie that allows him to play this degenerate, and you love him anyway.
Charlie Harper's a guy that found a lot of success with very little work, and I think he's got a big heart. I think he has a limited bag of tools to draw on, but at the end of the day, he ultimately wants to do the right thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you'll see on the screen when you watch our show that we couldn't have possibly written down. I mean, the way Charlie raises an eyebrow. And as we've gone along and we've learned what the actors can do, you know, it's our job to just find opportunities to let them do it.
You know, John and I never really discussed how we would play this stuff. The first time we read it, the first time we ever stood, you know, in front of each other and said these words, it was magically organic.
Good, Charlie. Keep hitting on the deranged woman. While you're at it, why don't you try humping a bear trap?
Alan, open your eyes. That is an intriguing and exciting woman, a rare and magnificent jewel.
She's hot and you're horny.
Saying.
Originally, when we first started the show, there was a lot of talk of Alan being a neat nut and all these things, and we kind of got rid of that because we felt that he was a different guy. Alan has his own issues.
The maniacal Shih Tzu quality that John can bring to a tormented man could become, enough already, but he's endearing.
Stay. Now stay. Oh, who's a good dog? Who's a good dog? Oh, yeah.
I've had a great time because they've allowed me to do a lot of physical comedy. Well, those things are hard to do because you have to not actually get hurt because you have to do it over and over again.
Are you okay?
Yeah, that was kind of flying squirrel.
On your back.
My pain equals hilarity for the nation, apparently. Working with Angus has been fun because you get to watch him grow as an actor.
Me and John, we hang out, we crack jokes, and we play video games.
You know, everybody's walking around on show night or a pre-shoot and, you know, trying to focus and get prepared and just be brilliant. And there's Angus, riding a skateboard across the stage. You know, he's an amazing reminder that this is all supposed to be fun.
Working with Charlie, it's really fun to work with him because he tries to make me laugh. Like, when he's about to enter, he tries to make me laugh just by doing random things. Like, he did this one thing one week where he was pretending like he was stroking his beard. He doesn't have a beard, so he was just kind of going like this.
No, he's blaming that on me because he has a tendency to laugh when we're shooting, which is fine because we're doing comedy, so it's good to laugh. But he sometimes you just want to get through a scene, and get on with your life. And there he is. He's got the blow to the scene, and he's cracking up.
My character, Jake, he's similar to me. He likes video games, of course. I like video games.
Turns out this little rascal was pulling a fast one on us. Doing a book report without the book.
I have to say he's a little worse in school than I am.
Jake.
Oh yeah. I'm just a normal kid. I'm a normal kid who happens to be on a TV show. It sounds kind of weird, but that's just what it is. I don't really do anything different than normal kids. It's like as if another kid played baseball.
He's in the first shot of the first scene, and there's 200 some odd people in the audience, and the cameras are ready, and the lights are on, and all the introduction's been done. And we're supposed to start the show, and he's in agony with a terrible stomachache. We're gonna have to call off the show, I've got a sick young man here. And we sit down with him going, all right, well, what's going on? And we find out that he had chosen to have a double chili cheese bacon burger for dinner, and it wasn't sitting well, okay? Well, what can we do? Should we just, and he goes, I don't know, can I take an antacid or something like that? And so, all right, fine. So one of the crew got him a Pepsid, Pepsid pills, And he takes it and he swallows it and he takes a glass of water and he goes, okay, I'm ready.
He's really just a regular kid. He's not spoiled. He's got no Hollywood attitude. He's great professional on the set, and when he's not working, he's just doing regular kid stuff.
We lean on Angus. You know, Angus carries stories. Angus carries scenes. He's not the kid in the show. He's part of the cast.
Jake, your grandmother's here.
Oh, man.
I mean, right here in the room.
Oh, man, Grandma's here.
When we created the show, we very specifically wanted to go, okay, well, how did they get to be Charlie and Alan? That's how we came to the character of Evelyn.
Alan, the divan is not for sitting. Charlie, get off the couch.
Well, from the beginning, I was calling it the Holland Taylor role, you know, and I just think it's great that we ended up with Holland Taylor.
Where's my grandson?
Or we could scare it out of him.
The second you get Holland Taylor, you know who that woman's going to be.
Real unhappiness is being totally ignored by the very people you gave birth to.
And it's funny because in real life, she's incredibly warm and affectionate and swears like a sailor. You keep having to remind her, there's a 12-year-old on the set.
She's not this toxic narcissist. You need to say that up front. Again, it's good acting, and it needs to be noted.
I'm thankful I'll be dead someday, and you'll all feel horrible you weren't nicer to me.
I'm thankful I finally found a therapist who has no compunction about prescribing powerful sedatives.
Mara Hinkle may be the greatest journey of any character on this series, because in the first season, she was questioning her sexuality. She was very, a bewildered character in the beginning of the series. She didn't know who she was. She just knew she didn't want to be with him. It was a great line in the pilot, and I don't know if Lee mentioned this in his interview, but he said it in interviews before. I think we can use it. It was something his ex-wife said to him.
One of the things she said to me was, sometimes.
Alan, sometimes when I think about coming home to you, I start crying in my car.
It so explains someone who's done.
Hearing people laugh at it and getting a nice check for it it goes a great deal of the way towards healing.
Mara Hinkle, she always tells me, like, how can you not be nervous? Like, she says that she's always nervous in front of the audience.
Sometimes you sleep with a woman who is out of her mind.
Oh, hi, Charlie's brother. I'm Rose.
I don't think we at the time envisioned it was a recurring character.
Melanie blew us away, and then the problem became, okay, how do you create a recurring character out of a stalker?
Morning, everybody. I brought real maple syrup for the pancakes.
There's no pancakes, Rose.
Because Jake's not here.
Because Charlie's an idiot.
Oh, why? I mean, why is Jake not here, not why is Charlie an idiot?
I honestly don't think that's a character you've ever seen on television before, the best friend / stalker.
She brought something to it that I can guarantee you Lee and I never anticipated. I love this particular psychotic.
We shot the whole pilot, and she stayed in that Rose voice the whole time. And then when she joined us as a semi-regular, I heard her speaking in her native New Zealand tongue, and I said to her, I said, wow, that's a really good accent that you're putting on there. And she said, no, this is me. I had no idea. That's how good she was in the pilot as Rose. With that voice,
I love when we get to do just scenes each other because she's almost like another kid in the show.
Hey, guys.
Rose, what are you doing?
We're playing Mummy on a chair.
Also, when Conchata Ferrell was cast on the show, that was a big treat.
I can see the clothes hamper was a wise purchase.
She wasn't in the pilot. She was in, I think, the second episode.
But who's gonna take care of me? Who's gonna do the laundry and the shopping and the cleaning and all the other stuff?
That's the scrubbing bubble there.
She's leaving because I move in, and it's really funny.
She believes herself to be a great housekeeper. They don't think so. But if you look around, the place is usually pretty clean.
Conchata in the second episode playing Charlie's maid hit such a home run. We wanted to keep this incredible actress with us.
She sobered up on you, huh?
Bert is basically the voice of the audience. She's the observer and the commenter.
I'm still sleeping here. Could you come back in a little while?
I could, or you could get your pampered ass out of bed and let me do my demeaning job and get on with my hellish life.
You know, Charlie and I will be doing a scene, just laying pipe. Chatty comes in, knocks it out of the park. Good night, y'all, and leaves.
Okay, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. Please, if my kids had gone to bed at 7 o'clock, I'd have dipped myself in gravy and danced naked on the rooftops.
Charlie and Alan, they clearly both fear women to a great extent. I mean, we realized at one point, like, I think it was like the 4th or 5th episode, I was like, wow, we're scared of all the women in our lives.
So where's Jake?
Ask Charlie.
Yeah, ask him.
Well, Charlie?
Just like Buffalo.
You know, again, that's I think that says something about the writers. I love the episode where Berta's niece was in the house and was so gorgeous and so underage that we could in no way deal with how gorgeous and sexy she was.
Well, I'd better get started on that work. I have to do.
Yeah, I gotta catch up on some paperwork that has to do with the office.
It just was this perfect guy moment.
I've been doing this for close to 30 years, and I gotta tell you, this is the best experience I've ever had on television.
I just think that what we've accomplished is we didn't try to reinvent anything. We're staying true to an age-old style that, again, is, as I said, is character-driven.
The show is sort of comfortable in what it is. You know, we're an old school sitcom. We have no pretensions to making something arty or weird or new. You know, we're just, you know what, we're here to make you laugh, and I think we do that.
That is a very sexy woman.
We actually have tremendous opportunities because we have a young man growing up. And there's going to come a time in this series when he ain't going to be a half. You know, it's happening very quickly.
In the series finale, we'll have a flash forward with my dad playing me and Martin Sheen playing Charlie, and they're still hating each other, still living together, you know, and Angus is still living with them.
Men, manly men, manly men.
Da, 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 da. It was like 6 seconds. I went, it's not enough.
What?
It's 2 words, men and manly.
It's wonderful. It tells you where you are on television.
Whoa, look at that.
It took 3 guys to do men, manly men.